Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
And now, after a long night of counting, it's clear that we're winning enough states to reach 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency.
The fate of the United States presidency remains in limbo as votes are still being counted in several key states tonight. President Donald Trump has already requested a recount in Wisconsin after ballot counts show former Vice President Joe Biden won the state by less than 1%. The Trump campaign has also filed lawsuits in both Pennsylvania and Michigan, claiming Republican voters in both states are being disenfranchised and diluted. The latest count shows President Trump is slightly ahead in Pennsylvania, while NBC has declared Biden the winner in Michigan. Today, Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley spoke with those in our community on how they're feeling as they wait to find out what's next.
For most in the Valley, they say feelings of anxiety and discouragement are not new for 2020.
We have our usual anxieties. You know, we're trying to pay bills. We're trying to raise the kids. We're trying to be good employees. Plus you add on pandemic, and then you add on to it trying to figure out how to have an elective process. There's just a lot of anxiety.
McDonald says while it's not the first time this has happened in U.S. history, a still undetermined presidential winner isn't helping anyone's mental state.
I have 2 special needs kids, and I myself have an autoimmune disorder, and there's no way that any decision won't impact my family.
However, McDonald says she's been trying her best to stay positive, saying she's made a conscious effort to unplug and to not inundate herself with all things election.
There's no amount of my anxiety that's going to change anything. So I'm just going to sort of try and keep a small periphery open for, any big news.
She says new and old hobbies, as well as putting extra focus on her kids, have been just a few of the things that have helped keep her mind clear recently. And says while she hopes the man she voted for will win the election, she says she will remain positive if not.
I will probably just need to focus on the things that I can change. That's all I can do.
Something she says she hopes more strive for over the next 4 years as well. Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Vote counts in both Georgia and North Carolina continue to be close, with President Trump only ahead by 1 to 2 points. Both states are reporting that more than 90% of their votes have been counted. We want to remind you of our election tracker. You can interact with this map on your own. We have it up on our website, valleynewslive.com, or on our VNL News app. It's free on the App Store. The tracker is updating in real time to keep you as up to date as more results roll in these key battleground states. Well, turning to some good news now, our forecast. Our weekend keeps looking better and better. Here's Hutch with what's going on tonight.
Indeed, and our work week shaping up to be pretty dandy as well. Records fell once again today as we are sliding back into the 60s now for the evening hours. The wind picking up in our western counties. We have 10 to 20 mile per hour westerly breezes there. A few clouds associated with a cool front that is pushing its way through the region tonight. There you can see those clouds in the distance from the Grand Forks home of economy camera. Temperatures in the 50s for most of our evening, Stacy. Winds should be dying down as we go into the overnight hours. This cool front will impact your weather tomorrow. It doesn't look as warm. I'll have the hour-by-hour details on that, and we'll look ahead to that all-important weekend forecast here in just a couple moments.
All right, Hutch, thanks so much. Voter turnout was strong at polling places across the FM Metro and the rest of the Valley. The North Dakota Secretary of State website says more than 344,000 people cast ballots. That's 59% of eligible voters, and that number will go up as absentee ballots are continuing to be counted. In Minnesota, the Secretary of State Steve Simon is hoping the state will break 80% voter turnout this year. A North Dakota man who was running for a state house seat and then died won his election. The Secretary of State's results show Republican David Ondal won in District 8, coming in second to Republican Dave Meering. Both are then considered winners for that district. Ondal died on October 5th. Governor Burgum is now appointing Wade Bozants to fill the unfilled District 8 seat. Just before midnight, Republican challenger Michelle Fischbach declared victory over 30-year incumbent Colin Peterson. She made the announcement at her watch party in Spicer, Minnesota, with a hefty lead in the polls. Now, with 99% of precincts reporting, she's up 53% to Peterson's 40%.
Very excited. ready to go to Washington, D.C. and represent this district with a strong conservative voice and get to work.
Peterson has held that seat since 1991. His statement reads, in part, "I'd like to thank the people of the 7th District for their support over the years. We ran a strong and positive campaign, but with the president winning this district by 30 points again, and the millions in outside money that was spent to attack me, the partisan tilt of this district was just too much to overcome." Voters in 32 states weighed in on 120 ballot measures at the polls, covering issues from minimum wage to pit bulls and drugs. Danya Bacchus breaks it down for us.
Expect more marijuana dispensaries to start opening up around the country in 2021. Voters in New Jersey, Arizona, South Dakota, and Montana approved measures legalizing recreational marijuana for adults 21 and older. Medical marijuana won approval in Mississippi.
Might help the economy as far as bringing another industry to the state of Mississippi.
On Tuesday, Oregon became the first state to decriminalize possession of small amounts of hard drugs like cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. Voters there also made it legal for people in therapy sessions to use the psychedelic drug in mushrooms. Florida minimum wage workers who fought for more money are getting it. The Sunshine State will gradually increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2026. Rideshare drivers for companies like Uber and Lyft did not get what they wanted in California. Voters rejected the state's initiative to make drivers employees who receive benefits instead of independent contractors. Uber and Lyft spent $200 million to defeat the initiative, the most expensive effort in state history. The companies threatened to leave California if the measure passed. Anti-abortion amendments were on the ballots in 2 states. Louisiana voters passed a measure asserting there is no state constitutional right to abortion. In Colorado, voters defeated a measure to prevent abortions after 22 weeks unless the woman's life is endangered. In Mississippi, voters decided on a new flag with a magnolia design that replaces their old flag with the Confederate battle emblem. And in Denver, you can legally own a pit bull now. Pit bulls have been outlawed since 1989 in that city following a high-profile attack on a 3-year-old. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
California voters also passed a ballot measure restoring the right to vote for felons on parole. Here in North Dakota, Measure 1 would have expanded the State Board of Higher Ed from 8 to 15 members. That was defeated by a large margin. 72% of voters said no, 27% said yes. The measure would also have increased term limits from 4 to 6 years. North Dakota Measure 2 would have given the state legislature the power to pass or reject initiated measures driven and passed by citizens. The latest tally, 62% of people say no, 38% said yes. A federal judge is livid with the U.S. Postal Service after it failed to meet a court-ordered deadline to sweep mail processing facilities for any outstanding ballots on Election Day. At a hearing today, District Judge Emmett Sullivan asked the lawyer representing USPS, quote, "I'd like you to explain just what the heck happened yesterday." The judge had ordered sweeps at 220 facilities in Florida, Houston, Philadelphia, Detroit, Atlanta, Arizona, and South Carolina by 3 p.m. on Election Day. North Dakota health experts are reporting close to 300 new positive COVID cases in Cass County alone. There are more than 1,100 new cases in the state with 12 deaths, bringing the death toll to 567. The positivity rate is now roughly 14%. You can see the full numbers scrolling at the bottom of your screen and on our VNL News app. Today starts Valley News Live's virtual food drive for the Great Plains Food Bank. This food drive will help families in need around the FM area. Our goal is to reach $40,000. To find out how you can donate, just download our free VNL News app, look for the virtual food drive, and click to donate. Coming up on Valley News Live at 5, we're getting closer to an official call in Georgia. We bring you an update as election workers continue to count the votes.
Record-setting heat in the valley once again. Standing records from the 70s and the mid-teens and 2000s were tied or broken today. More warm weather is in the forecast, but a little bit of a hiccup to talk about for the weekend. Details are coming up right after this.